everybody, thanks for watching the Tritano Show. I'm Tritano. Today I'm here at the International School of the Sacred Heart in Tokyo, Japan. I'm introducing you to Jonah Hagans. He's an actor, a director, he's worked in film and in television, but his heart is in the theater, and he'll tell you why. I am so excited for you to meet him today. He really is a genius. I know that word is overused, but I mean it. And he's going to talk to you about, a little bit about the reality of being in the theater. I thought that was an important subject, especially for people who are interested in the performing arts as a career. Okay, so let's go inside the school here and we'll talk to him about it. Great. I want to talk about how you got to Japan. Tell me a little bit about that. I love these stories too. Everybody has a different story about how they got to Japan. They're usually really interesting.
It's true. So I was in Hawaii, and my first few years when I left LA and moved to Hawaii, I was still working in the States, in the mainland, and flying back and forth for work for 2 or 3 years. And
as an actor? As
an actor.
Okay.
And I got this call. She's saying, "Listen, I need actors. There's this opportunity to do a feature film. Can you audition?" I'm like, "Sure." I never really had met her, but that's cool. Went in, auditioned, and I also read on the opposite side of the camera for everybody else's auditions.
Oh, wow.
Well, because it required British accent, Australian accent, Scottish accent.
You do all those?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't.
Maybe. Maybe I can work up to it.
Right. And so, of course, I get the call back and get flown over to Oahu. Did the audition, and on the spot, the director said, "I want you in this movie."
Wow.
It's a World War II drama set on the Bataan Railroad, the Railroad of Death.
Yeah.
It's a similar story to like Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about.
Or King Rat is the other one that's about that. Only this is a true story. Written by a guy who was there. And in this particular camp, it's called To End All Wars. And, they actually flew the Japanese in from Japan. And these are the people I kind of bonded with. Yui Masayuki, Kamoda Sakai, Sasa Yugo, were these 3 guys specifically. And I would find myself in their hotel room after hours. Okay. And you know how the Japanese can party.
Oh, can they? Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, and I had such a great time. And at the end, I was like, well, what would happen if I came to Japan?
Huh.
And they're like, oh, you'd probably do very well for yourself. I mean, you could do the television thing, you're blonde, you know, do the Gaijin actor on television thing.
Yeah, Gaijin means foreigner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I showed up. Less than a year later, I said, fine, I'm coming. That's it. Why not? Why not?
A lot of people out there are interested in the performing arts, and it's a worthy profession, and it's very important, the arts. But maybe we, in the beginning, aren't so realistic about what a life as a performance artist means. And so I want to talk to you about how you make a living.
Well, that too has evolved and changed a lot over the years. Because I went to acting school for years and years.
Yeah.
And at some point in there, because you know, in an acting program, in a conservatory program, there's always other things you can do.
Yeah.
And so I snuck into the lighting shop, Central Lighting at Cal Arts, and learned how to take lights apart and put them back together, and learn that craft and learn how to lighting design.
Yeah.
I would stick I worked in a construction shop all the time. We had to, you know, you have a requirement.
Yeah, you do the lighting class, you do the wood shop, you do that. Yeah.
And a lot of actors are like, I remember.
Wood shop, stagecraft.
Stagecraft.
Sorry.
Well, there is the wood shop.
Yeah.
And I learned all this stuff. And of course, growing up in the summers, I would help build the sets. I would help run the lights. I did the posters. I did all of it. Whatever I could do to get involved. Yeah. And that is kind of ultimately what has saved me as working in the arts, because I don't pigeonhole myself as an actor. And I learned early on that you have a choice. You can go wait tables, and this is Los Angeles days, right? Yeah. You can go wait tables or temp, and which I did. I did that for about 3 months.
Yeah, I did that too in New York. It's
awful. Yeah. And it's just awful. And then audition in whatever spare time and hope that you get. And I say that break. Getting a break isn't
a one-time thing?
Well, number one, it's not a one-time thing. Number two, a break doesn't mean you're getting a lead in the Hollywood movie. Yeah. Right? You don't go from the cater waiter to Tom Hanks overnight. It didn't even happen for him.
It didn't happen for him. I remember when he was in drag on television. God bless him, right? He paid his dues.
Paid his dues. Yeah. And your choices, especially as an actor, is what is it that is not going to suck your soul out of you that you can do to sustain the time it takes to be bread and butter? Because the more you're seeing, the more people want to see you. Right? Yeah. That's just the formula. And how I kept making money was I worked in technical theater. I would design stage managed shows, and I actually got quite famous for that in LA. You can look up on Backstage West, did a whole, like Backstage did a whole paper front cover,
wow.
spread, right about the
That's a good paper to be in.
So part of success in a career is the visualization, is to see what you want, and then take very reasonable steps to attain those goals. Putting it out there, of course, is very important, but you don't, I think a lot of people, a lot of kids, younger people say, oh, I want to be a star.
Right.
And so I'm going to behave like a star.
And what does that mean, being a star? It's really vague, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think it means well paid and overexposed.
Okay.
And you need to decide for yourself what is a reasonable income. What are you willing to settle for, and what would be nice? Again, look at the things, look at the various options, and then sort of say, well, I need to make. I'll start small. I need to make $10,000 a year.
Okay.
But I'm going to aim for 20. Okay. So let's try and make 20 in that way. The 10 happens.
But it sounds like you were focusing on the work. You really wanted to be a good actor.
True. I did want to be a good actor.
You really wanted to be a good craftsman. You wanted to be a good. You wanted because you weren't only acting.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, I didn't want to be a actor.
Okay. That's what it was.
Moreover, I didn't want to leave the theater. It's what gets me out of it, and it keeps me going. And so I'm working on a TV show, occasionally directing, cutting my teeth as a director. I was still developing those skills. And I was, I'd be backstage working on a set. And these actors would walk in, people with way less experience and training than myself, who basically see a guy painting and they're like, oh, you, over there, you, deal with this for me. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. I probably make more money than you do as an actor.
Yeah.
You can back off right now, unless you learn how to paint very quickly. I suggest you play off.
Yeah.
And that attitude, and I hate to say it, but there are people with that attitude who actually do succeed. However, I think you'll find their careers are short-lived.
Oh, wow.
I was told early on that your skill is important, but being nice to everybody will get you more work.
So let me ask you a little bit about Tokyo International Players. So you're currently working as the vice president.
Yes.
And actually, this isn't the way you make a living.
No, this is all volunteer work.
It's all volunteer work, and you love it.
Yeah.
Why do you work with Tokyo International Players? I mean, this guy gives 100%. I've had the good fortune of working with him before. When I came to Japan, I found Tokyo International Players, and I don't know if you remember this, but I would sort of stalk you because I wanted to be in A Midsummer Night's Dream. It was a role that I had the opportunity to audition for 10 years earlier, and I missed the audition, and it didn't work out. And I'd always wanted to do it, and then I found out that they were going to do it, and he was directing it, so...
Yeah, you weren't subtle.
Yeah.
You made your intentions very clear.
And I got it. I got to play Oberon, and it was a wonderful experience. He painted me purple. He painted me purple. I'll show you the pictures.
It was a very intense show.
And then we worked together again on The Wizard of Oz, and he cast me as the wizard.
Let me first address why TIP.
Okay.
Because it gives me an opportunity to do shows that I probably wouldn't get paid to do.
Okay.
But they're shows that I love and I want to.
Yeah.
And I take on the beasts.
Yeah.
I take on the big ugly monsters of theater.
Yeah.
And I do them my way. As a director, I have a very distinct sort of visual aesthetic.
Yeah.
Things have to be a certain way, and I micromanage.
Yeah.
You'll see from those photos of me micromanaging or makeup, right?
Yeah. I've never seen any directing like this, where you're sort of when your actors are on the stage and you're going through your scenes. Jonah does this sort of mumbling, where he's like directing you while you're acting, and then there's like this whole production being built around you. It's amazing to watch.
And it takes a lot out, but again, it dates back to this visualization thing.
Yeah.
In terms of directing, and this is what I love about TIPs, the opportunity to do this for shows, big, huge shows, and because what directing is you have this group of people willing to do the show.
Yeah.
Those that audition. You have this idea, this image of what you want that show to be, and it is a force of will. It is literally nothing but willpower that drives these two things to meet somewhere in the middle and create that production.
So what's your hope? Where do you see TIP going in the future?
I just wanted to, well, first of all, I want to get it at home. I want it to have its own theater.
Yeah, because
we bounce around. Right?
Yeah, we travel around. They do Shinjuku Sun Mall Theater and
so Nakano Pocket Square.
That's a great space.
It's a cute space. I like it. And then Echo. I just do Echo Theater.
And then there's our space, which you guys actually, that's your space, right?
Yeah, that belongs to them. But
okay.
They very generously. I mean, they created it kind of in conjunction with TIP.
Okay, so you want TIP to get its own space.
I want it to have its own.
How's that going to happen?
By a force of will.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing it. I can see it very clearly in my head.
Yeah.
It will happen. It'll happen. I'll make it happen. Because that's kind of apparently what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Jonah's a total dream weaver. Like he will make it happen.
Yeah. I can see it very clearly, and I know the steps to take it happen.
Well, I think you'll do it, and I know the actors will be there supporting you and the audience. I would really love to see TIP become more part of the community in terms of bringing in like Japanese talent. There are, like actors, Japanese actors, ethnic Japanese, this sort of thing. But like, do you feel that TIP is really invested in Tokyo in a way that?
Well, it's been here for 117 years.
Yeah,
it's pretty invested.
That's a huge investment.
Its mandate and its direction. I think it changes constantly, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is it is English language theater.
Yeah.
So that's the one rule we really can't violate. So we're playing with it.
Yeah.
We're doing more translation stuff, and we're doing earpieces for shows. We're doing Gmark, what do you call it, subtitles for shows now.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we're opening that up. In terms of talent, I know that in chess I have roles for at least 8 people who don't even have to speak a word of English.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
We're looking forward to some awesome stuff from you, Jonah. Thank you, Jonah Hagans. That was good. All right. Thanks, everybody.